I was just going to be polite and let someone else speak, but Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you. My name is Bob Weeks, 2451 Regency Lakes Court. And I think in the discussion earlier, Mr. Longwell asked, well, what's the benefit of the industrial revenue bond program? And I think it's not really been stated, is that the applicant will not pay property taxes on the new property that's being built with the proceeds of these industrial revenue bonds. That's an economic development incentive. And last year, in 2008, the Kansas Legislative Division of Post Audit came out with a study looking at economic development incentives in the state of Kansas, both at the state level and at the local level, and they came out with a couple things. First of all, they said most studies of traditional economic development incentives suggest these incentives don't have a significant impact on economic growth. It also found the majority of research concludes there is a lack of demonstrated impact from these typical types of economic development assistance, and that these incentives aren't cost effective. Again, the benefit of this industrial revenue bond process to not only the Warren Theater Group but to any group is the relief from paying property taxes. And if it is in fact property taxes that are preventing this group from going forward with this project, then I suggest we have a very serious program, that our taxes are simply too high. You know that in the past I've suggested that we have lower taxes, and a matter of fact even look at let's exempting all new capital investment in this city for a certain period of years from property taxes. Then we wouldn't have to worry about who will get these incentives, who will not get these incentives. I think we could really have an explosion of economic growth in this town if we were to consider a policy like that. I'm also troubled about the calculation of the cost and benefits that are typically used to justify projects to this council. You know, the benefits, it's not like the city government's a business where people voluntarily trade and buy things that they like from the city. Instead, the benefit that the city gets from these is additional tax revenue. So really we're giving up maybe $1 of tax revenue to get back another 3 or 4, or whatever the exact number is, of tax revenue in the future. And at least to me, and I think a lot of other people, we don't see paying additional taxes as a benefit. We in Wichita have a low cost advantage of doing business in this town and also living in this town. And when we have targeted tax breaks for businesses like this, not only this one but the next one after this and others, that increases the cost for everybody else. If the city would reduce its spending by the amount of these incentives, it would be a different picture. But when the city continues to spend but excuses some people from paying taxes, then other people have to pay. That increases their cost of business. That increases the property taxes on people's homes. That's the unseen loss that we don't really see. We're going to see a shiny new theater on West 21st Street, just like we see other shiny new projects. Well, maybe the bean processing plant isn't going to be shiny, but still, we can see those things. But what we can't see is the lost economic activity spread throughout the city by the extra taxes that people have to pay when we relieve some people from having to pay their taxes. I would also say that there's an irony that's not lost on me anyway, that this applicant has apparently a successful track record of operating theaters, except for one that was built in a tax-advantaged area. Here we propose to create another tax-advantaged situation for this applicant, and I'm not saying that one predicts the other, but it is an element of irony there. I would just close by saying that with the item that came before this, the community improvement districts and other items that are coming after this on today's City Council agenda, you know, entrepreneurship is dying in this town. As the city seeks to do more and more centralized planning from this bench and from the upstairs in this building, I think we're really turning over more and more of our economic future to government, relying less and less on individual initiative and entrepreneurship that Wichita is justifiably proud of. And so for those reasons, I would ask that you not grant these industrial revenue bonds and the accompanying property tax exemptions. I'd be happy to answer a question if there is any.
And yeah, I think one of the things before I pass off and have council members to speak on it, if they is, you know, first of all, this particular movie, I don't know what's so special about IMAX. I'll be the first to tell you that, and I'll have to find out. You know, I've read about it, but I don't know what's so special about it. But the thing is I recognize that there are a lot of other cities that want this IMAX. And there are a lot of other cities, I can assure you right now, that they're on the internet and they're watching this city council meeting to see what we're going to do because they're going to make a bid for this IMAX. We know this. The other thing is that I've listened to individuals come up and say, you know, we really would like to have business to be able to operate on their own merit. If an individual is ready to start a business, they just make it happen. Either they can or they can't. Well, this might be a rude awakening to you, but this is not the rest of America. The rest of America is doing everything that they possibly can do to be able to get any business that might be a tourist attraction, to bring more people to their communities, to bring more revenue, to bring more dollars. It's a real deal. Within the next couple of weeks, you're going to have somebody from another country that's holding a convention right here in our city to recruit your businesses to come to their country and their city. And it's not just one individual, it's a group. Not only that, you've already had businesses that have already recruited some of your businesses. And in our minds, we think, well, it's just major corporations. No, it's not just major corporations. They want the major corporations, but they want the subcontractors too. So they're going ahead and they're recruiting these businesses, and they're doing whatever it takes to get these 1,500 jobs, or these 2,000 jobs, or these 3,000 jobs from your community. Not only are they doing that, but they turn around and they say, well, we're going to add some additional space for the subcontractors because we want them to. So your subcontractors, they're going out and they're trying to recruit your subcontractors to come there, and they are being successful at it. Now, those are the things that are flying under the radar that you're not paying attention to. The days of us turning around and not competing and not doing whatever is necessary to be able to maintain our businesses, to create tourist attractions, to be able to draw individuals here, because that's where businesses are going, wherever they see the people at, wherever they see the foot traffic. That's where they're going. So if the right idea is to not do anything, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but other cities and other states will take your businesses. We guarantee it. You see it happening each and every day, and this council end up fighting these type of issues each and every day and trying to stop those types of things. I had the luxury of talking to a business last night until 10 o'clock last night and asking them not to move their business someplace else because their primary contractor moved and provided an additional opportunity for them. And they have an opportunity to grow their business if they move their business. And I'm here to tell you, they're thinking about it. And you know what? We don't have oil and we don't have tobacco. We don't have all these things that we can add an additional tax onto and draw revenue to bring to the city. So we had better start thinking and thinking smartly about how we're going to be able to retain our businesses, because we don't have that leverage. But we have to find whatever necessary tools, like Councilmember Gray says with the hammer, that we can actually use to be able to leverage to get businesses to move here, and more importantly, keep the businesses that we have and seize every opportunity that we can get. So I just thought it was important, because I've had a chance to listen to some of your comments, and some of the comments, you know, they sound good, they're nice, and if we were back in 1950s, 60s, 70s, that might be perfect. But it's a totally different world that we live in today, and it's a huge challenge. And I have to have you understand the frustration that we go through and to feel what we're going through, because you're speaking from an isolated situation of just your philosophy and how you feel. And we're looking at it from a business perspective of this is what you expect of us. Because soon as we lose your businesses and soon as we can't retain them, you're going to be upset with us and you're going to ask us, why didn't you do something about it? So I think it was important that you guys know this, and don't think for one second that there aren't other cities and other states and other countries that want what we have. At this time, is there anybody else